Tucker Carlson, who stood alongside Donald Trump on the very first night of the convention, when he was lobbying for J.D. Vance, went on to call Marco Rubio a neocon who is aligned with the deep, dark state. This is where it gets really creepy. But according to Maggie Haberman in the New York Times today, Tucker Carlson last week warned Donald Trump that Rubio, as his vice president, would serve as an incentive for America's intelligence agencies to assassinate a would-be President Trump so Rubio could take his spot. That is Maggie Haberman's reporting in the New York Times. That's reporting from Maggie Haberman in today's New York Times. You might remember on this show, I said Don Jr. recommended a full-on MAGA Republican for vice president because he said a moderate vice president aligned with the old guard Republican establishment, that kind of vice president would make it easier to remove Trump. And I thought he was talking about impeachment insurance. Don Jr. said on his podcast that Democrats would come after his father with everything they got during a second term, and what would make Trump's removal appealing to the moderate wing of the Republican Party is knowing that a moderate Republican like Marco Rubio would be waiting in the wings. So the thinking is don't give them an alternative to Donald Trump. Give them a vice president equally as MAGA, if not more so, than Donald Trump. I thought he meant impeachment insurance. But now in the New York Times, I read that Tucker Carlson warned that Trump would be assassinated by the deep, dark state if Trump had a neocon, an establishment Republican waiting on deck. This is where we are in America. I never imagined they'd be talking about assassination insurance. And that conversation with Tucker Carlson was before the attempt on Donald Trump's life. This is where we're at. This isn't me. Again, this is Maggie Haberman of the New York Times. She is reporting one of the reasons Trump picked a far-right MAGA conservative is because Tucker Carlson warned that intelligence agencies would be far less inclined to assassinate Trump if there weren't a neocon waiting in the wings. He said if there's a neocon waiting in the wings, our intelligence agencies would be more likely to assassinate Trump. So, very disturbing. You know, I'm almost reticent. Like, I don't want to talk about this until I saw it in the New York Times. And I thought, well, we have to talk about this. This is what a second Trump administration is going to look like. Complete distrust of our intelligence agencies, complete mistrust of the FBI, and most importantly, abject fear that the Secret Service is filled with Biden loyalists. What happened on Saturday makes it critical that Donald Trump not win. We should drop to our knees and thank whomever that Trump survived for every reason under the book. But he did get shot. And getting shot changes people. It changed Reagan. It made him more forgetful. But other people, it makes them even more paranoid than they already are. If Donald Trump finds his way back into the Oval Office, he's going to remember what happened on Saturday. But he's not going to outlaw assault weapons because he only cares about his own physical safety. There are plans after the convention next week for the Republican-controlled House to conduct a massive investigation into the Secret Service's failures, catastrophic failures, last Saturday in Butler, Pennsylvania. Those hearings, pardon the pun, are going to be a bloodbath. I have heard that just like after Uvalde, just like after the Parkland school shooting, on Saturday, a local police officer in Butler, Pennsylvania, when confronted by the shooter brandishing an AR-15, chose his own life over those of the people he swore to protect. That's unfair, but that's what's being said. In Uvalde, 2 years after that massacre of innocent school children, the police chief, was just indicted for his delayed response. They are blaming the police chief for Uvalde. Exactly 1 year ago, the police officer who hid for cover during the Parkland school shooting was found not guilty. But he was the scapegoat. He was indicted for child endangerment because he was accused of backing away from the shooter. He was accused of choosing his safety over the students. He was found not guilty. I am certain there will be indictments of local police in Butler, Pennsylvania for what went down on Saturday. I am certain the female head of the Secret Service will be forced to resign. Because here in America, instead of blaming the guns, we are now blaming the police. Instead of the assault weapons or the semi-automatic rifles, we are blaming the Secret Service, as though the police or the Secret Service can stop a mass shooting. I will say this, however, when there is a mass shooting, when there is an assassination attempt like last Saturday, I do blame the police. I do blame law enforcement for their silence. It is the police, it is law enforcement who should be demanding an assault weapons ban. They, of all people, should be demanding an assault weapons ban. It is those weapons that are making their job terrifying and impossible. It is the police chiefs who need to stop taking freebies from the National Rifle Association and the gun manufacturers and do what they did back in 1994 when Bill Clinton got the assault weapons ban passed. They need to speak out against our culture of guns. Guns don't make us free. They make us less free. And mark my words, if Trump somehow finds his way back into the Oval Office, he and a Republican-controlled Congress will do away with the Secret Service and create a brand new security apparatus whose sole mission is to keep Donald Trump and his party loyalists safe. Right now, the President of the United States currently has 250 emergency powers at his disposal. Because of the guns in this country, because of Donald Trump's distrust of the intelligence agencies and the FBI, he will create his own government-sponsored security apparatus that, because of these emergency powers he has, as well as the Supreme Court's most recent ruling on presidential immunity, this security apparatus, this palace guard, will answer solely to Donald Trump. And it will be all because of the assault weapons in this country. All of our liberties will be stripped from us. We will have to watch what we say. We already are watching what we say. We have to tone down the heated political rhetoric. We already are toning down the heated political rhetoric because of the assault weapons. Under this new security apparatus, our mail will be opened, our phone calls monitored, because we have to protect our leaders from the assault weapons. So, tell me once again how guns make Americans more free.